Golden calves when fear becomes your religion. It sounds pretty dramatic, right? But today we're going to break down this powerful idea. What happens when we start building monuments to our own fears? But first, let me just ask you something right off the bat. Have you ever tried to control an outcome purely out of fear? You're so worried about losing something or that things just won't work out that you decide, nope, I'm taking over. I mean, we've all been there, right? And that exact impulse, well, that's what we're diving into. So to help us understand this, we're going to look at a story, a really old one, about a king named Jeroboam. His story is, well, it's kind of the perfect example of what goes down when you let fear take the driver's seat. See, the thing about Jeroboam is that he wasn't just some random king. He was actually given this incredible divine promise. Basically, he was told that if he just followed the right path, his kingdom would be totally secure, his dynasty would last. I mean, talk about the ultimate guarantee, right? And this is where it all gets complicated. Because on one hand, you've got this rock-solid divine promise. But on the other hand, you have Jeroboam's very real, very human fear. He started getting worried that his people would go somewhere else to worship and that his power would start to, well, slip away. This right here, this is the pivot. It's the moment everything changes. Instead of just trusting the promise he was given, Jeroboam decides he needs to protect it. He cooks up his own human strategy, a plan born completely out of fear, to make that promise happen, but on his own terms. And this fear-based plan of his? It didn't just stay as an idea in his head. Oh no. As we're about to see, it took on a very real, very physical, and pretty destructive form. So he actually had a 3-step plan. Pretty methodical, right? First, he isolated his people. He made it super hard for them to get to the real place of worship. Step 2, he created these new, easy, convenient idols for them to worship instead. And finally, step 3, he pretty much invented a whole new religion to make the whole thing seem legit. And what were these new idols? Well, he built 2 golden calves. You have to understand, these weren't just pretty statues. They were physical symbols of his fear. They were monuments to his complete lack of trust, basically a giant golden declaration that he thought his strategy was better than a divine promise. Okay, so this is where a story that's thousands of years old suddenly becomes super relevant to you and me, right now. Because, let's be honest, we all build golden calves. So let's define what we're talking about in today's world. A golden calf is basically any idol or system or strategy that we create because we're afraid. It's something we build because we think it's the only way to lock down our future, to secure our own success. It's our attempt to control what feels, well, uncontrollable. So that really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, if we're not out in the backyard melting down gold to make a statue, then what are the golden calves that we're building in our own lives today? And they can look like a lot of different things, Sometimes it's our career. We put everything into it, believing it's the only thing that gives us worth. Or maybe it's a relationship that we cling to, terrified of being alone. It could totally be our bank account, our reputation, or even just that feeling, that illusion, that we have total control over everything. These are the modern idols we turn to when we're driven by fear. Okay, so if building things out of fear is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the good news is there's a really powerful alternative. It really comes down to 2 paths, a choice we all have to make. On one side, you have our human strategies, which are always rooted in fear. And that path, it always leads to building these golden calves that in the end just don't work. But then there's the other side, a divine strategy. It's rooted in trust, and that's the path that leads to real, genuine prosperity. And the central idea here is this, that everything needed to prosper is found in the Word of God, our only life manual. I love that metaphor, a life manual. Think about it. Instead of trying to write our own frantic, fear-based strategies, the alternative is to just trust the instruction manual we've already been given. When you boil it all down, it's actually a pretty simple but profound equation. Divine strategy is always, always greater than human fear, period. And so that brings us to one last question, and this one's just for you. It's really the only one that matters today. Take a good, honest look at your life, at your worries, your goals, everything, and ask yourself, really ask, what are you building with your fear?